Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Bol to all the viewers and welcome to today's Sunday program. Thank you for joining us today, to all the viewers on YouTube, via Zoom and Facebook. So today we have a lovely program scheduled. We have Srila Prabhupada Aarti to follow by Keshav family. And we have a Kirtan section. Mrs. Roy, Mrs. Durrett, and Neelaben and Thakurbai from Rugby will be singing Kirtans today. Following that, we have, I'm sure, a lovely class and Radha Madhav prepared by Patas Bhav and Das Prabhu. And then for the Aarti, we have Aki Mataji and Prem Prakash Prabhu family in Hinckley. And following that, we have Namaste prayers by Aki's son. At the end, Vidya Prabhu will be joining us for some announcements, final announcements for the program. So without further ado, we shall go to the temple, if the temple's ready, for the Srila Prabhupada Aarti, and we can glorify the founder Acharya of our Iskcon movement. And also this week, I believe on Tuesday, marks the date of Srila Prabhupada's arrival, I believe, in the USA. So on the 28th of September, it's Srila Prabhupada's arrival in the USA. So let's remember the sacrifices that Srila Prabhupada made for us, for the benefit of the whole world. Without Srila Prabhupada, we wouldn't be here today in our spiritual lives. So let's offer our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Prabhupada Jayo, 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 Prabhupada Jayo. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sama. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sama. Bando Mohi Savadana Mape Bando Mohi Savadana Mape Jahara Prasade Bhai Eva Vatoriya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Guru Charane Rati Ese Utama Gati
Guru Charane Rati Ese Utama Gati
Ye Parsade Pure Sarva
Sahade Pure Sarva
Chakudana Bhilo Yehi Channe Janne Prabhu Se
Chakudana Dilo Janne Janne Prabhu Sare
Divya Dhyana Hridaya Pashito
Divya Dhyan Hidaya Pashita
Prema Bhakti Yahote Avira Vinasayate
Prema Bhakti Yaha Hoite Rate Saviya Sajane
Veda Gaya Charito
Veda Gaya Harata
Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu
Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu
Lokanath Lokira Divana
Lokinath Lokira Divana
Mahaprabhu Puranoya Diyo More Pada Jaya
Mahaprabhu Karudaya Deyo Muni Padaya
Devayash Kushaka Devana
Devaya Kushu Priyuvana
Ore Pai Laila Sarana
Oe Pai Lela Charana
Shila Prabhupada Patita Pavana
Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada
Jaya Guru Maharaj Guru Maharaj Guru Maharaj Jaya Guru Maharaj
Jayo Guru Maharaj Jayo Guru Maharaj Jayo Guru Maharaj Jayo Guru Maharaj
Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol
Jai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Gora Hari Bol 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 Srila Prabhupada की जय गुरु महाराज की जय नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Janki Mataji, Geshe Prabhu, and Hari Bodhra. Nice to see you. Thank you for doing the Aarti. It's lovely to have your family join the Sunday program. Hare Krishna. So as mentioned previously, so this coming Tuesday is actually Srila Prabhupada's arrival in the USA. So before we move over to the video, there's a small note in the calendar. So I'll just share that, which is very nice. So several years after Srila Prabhupada first arrived in America, a disciple discovered the diary he had kept during his passage from India on the steamship Jaladuta. Inside was a poem handwritten in Bengali, which Srila Prabhupada had written on board the ship just after it had arrived in Boston Harbor. The poem beautifully captures Srila Prabhupada's first impressions of Western civilization and reveals his heartfelt determination to change the consciousness of America. So it begins, "My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me, but I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? So such lovely words by Srila Prabhupada there. You can see that, Prabhupada didn't want to, leave Vrindavan at that age. Can you imagine, you're all settled and enjoying your bhajan, doing your spirituality, but Srila Prabhupada made that personal sacrifice for Lord Krishna and for the movement, for the benefit of all of us in this Western world. So it's a very, very nice day to remember that Srila Prabhupada not, ventured out to across the seas and left Bharat, left Vrindavan. What would be our position today? I can't imagine what our lives would be like. So next we'll share a lovely video, a short class by Srila Prabhupada talking on Krishna consciousness. So Hari Bol, thank you.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam. So Krishna is accepted by the authorities as Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is Bhagavan? Bhagavan means that one who is fully equipped with 6 opulences. Fully equipped with all opulences means Bhagavan is the richest personality. How much rich Bhagavan or God is, we can understand that we are proud of possessing a few acres of land. And Bhagavan means who is the proprietor of the whole universe. Therefore, he is considered the richest. Similarly, he is considered the strongest. And similarly, he is considered the wisest. And similarly, he is the most beautiful personality. In this way, when you find a person, the richest, the most beautiful, the most wise, the strongest, in this way, when you find, that is Bhagavan or God. So when Krishna was present on this planet, he proved all these opulences possessed by him. Take for example that everyone marries, but Krishna, being the Supreme Person, he married 16,108 women. But it is not that he remained one husband for 16,000 wives. He made arrangement for providing the 16,000 wives in different palaces. Each palace, there is described, they are made of first-class marble stone and furniture made of ivory, and the sitting place made of very nice soft cotton. This way there is description. And the outward compound, there are many flower trees. Not only that, he also expanded himself into 16,000 expansion, personal expansion. And he was living in that way with each and every wife. So it is not very difficult task for God. God is said to be situated everywhere. So within our vision, if he is situated in 16,000 homes, what is the difficulty for him? So here it is said, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the most powerful authority is speaking. Therefore, whatever he says, it is to be taken as truth. In our this conditional life, just like we are living under material condition, we have got 4 defects. We commit mistake, we are illusion, and we want to cheat also, and our senses are imperfect. So knowledge received from a person who is infected with 4 kinds of deficiencies is not perfect. So when you receive knowledge from a person who is transcendental to all these 4 kinds of defects, that is perfect knowledge. Modern scientists, they theorize that it may be like this, it may be like that, but that is not perfect knowledge. So if you speculate with your imperfect senses, what is the value of that knowledge? It may be partial knowledge, but that is not perfect knowledge. Therefore, our process of receiving knowledge is to receive it from the perfect person. Therefore, we are receiving knowledge from Krishna, Bhagavan, the most perfect, and therefore our knowledge is perfect. Just like a child, he may be imperfect, but if his father says, my dear child, this is called spectacle. So, if the child speaks, this is spectacle, that knowledge is perfect. Because the child does not make research to find out knowledge. He asks his father or mother, what is this, daddy, what is this, mother? And the mother says, my dear child, this is this. Another example can be given, that is, if a child does not, in childhood, he does not know who is his father, that he cannot make any research work. If he makes research work to find out his father, he will never find out his father. But if he asks his mother, who is my father, and the mother says, he is your father, that is perfect. Therefore, knowledge of God, who is beyond your sense perception, how can you know? Therefore, you have to know from God himself or his eternity. So here Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, and that is the final authority, he says to Arjuna as follows. He says, Asocyan anusuchastam prajnavadang subhasasti. My dear Arjuna, you are talking like very learned scholar, but you are lamenting on a subject matter which you should not do. Gatasun agatasunsa nanusuchanti pandita. Gatasun means this body, when it is dead or when it is alive. Bodily conception of life is foolishness. So no learned man takes serious consideration of the body. Therefore, in the Vedic literature it is said that one who is in the bodily concept of life, he is nothing more than an animal. Therefore, at the present moment, without knowledge of the self, the whole world is going on under the bodily concept of life. The bodily concept of life is there amongst the animals. The cats and dogs, they are very proud of becoming a big cat or big dog. Similarly, if a man also becomes similarly proud that I am big American, big German, big, what is the difference? But that is actually going on. And therefore they are fighting like cats and dogs. So we shall discuss more tomorrow. Hare
Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. That was really a lovely piece of video that Anil selected for us today. So thank you, Anil, for your lovely service of selecting Srila Prabhupada's classes and videos for every Sunday program. We really gain a lot from hearing Srila Prabhupada, and it's so nice to hear the original audio and listen to Srila Prabhupada every week like this. And also now we've started to resume the book club. So I believe on Saturday, yesterday, we had a lovely book club by all the devotees. And it's a detailed discussion. So the devotees are reading Srila Prabhupada's books and having realizations and sharing their realizations through the book club with other senior devotees. So it's a very nice exercise and activity that the temples arrange every week on a Saturday. So please do join us if you can. And that's on Zoom. So now we have our Kirtan session. We have Mrs. Roy. Do we have Mrs. Roy online? Mrs. Roy is a wonderful devotee in our congregation. She sings really wonderfully, really authentic Bengali style bhajans. So it's really lovely to hear her voice. Let's see where Mrs. Roy is. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
आप कैसे हो?
ठीक है, आपको कैसे?
हाँ जी, सभी ठीक है, आपकी कृपा जय। आज आप क्या गाने वाले हैं भगवान के लिए?
नाम संकीर्तन।
नाम संकीर्तन, हाँ जी। Hare Krishna.
Esho ego rango yama hridoyo majare. Esho ego rango yama hridoyo majare. Esho nitai esho go here boduno yon bore gouresho nitai esho here boduino yon bore esho ego rango yama হৃদয় মাজারে আমি সাধন শূন্য ভজন শূন্য আমি সাধন শূন্য ভজন শূন্য আমি শক্তি শূন্য ভক্তি শূন্য কিসে পাবো গৌর তোমারে আমি শক্তি শূন্য ভক্তি শূন্য কিসে পাবো গৌর তোমারে এসো এ গৌ রাঙ্গয়ামা হৃদয় মাজারে গৌর হে দয়াময় গৌর হে দয়াময় আমার সাধন শূন্য ভজন শূন্য শক্তি শূন্য ভক্তি শূন্য গৌর কিসে পাবো তোমারে এসো এ গো রাঙ্গ আমার হৃদয় মাঝে আমার থাকতো যদি প্রেম ভক্তি ছাড়তাম না প্রাণ থাকিতে আমার থাকতো যদি প্রেম ভক্তি থাকতাম না প্রাণ থাকিতে এসো হে গৌ রাঙ্গ আমার হৃদয় মাজারে হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে এসো এ গো রাঙ্গয়ামা হৃদয় মাজার এসো এ গো রাঙ্গয়ামা হৃদয় মাজার হরি বল
हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा। बहुत बहुत सुंदर माता जी, अति सुंदर। ये इसका भजन का मतलब
Meaning,
meaning.
it means she's calling Gaur Nitai, Gauranga, to come to her heart. She's saying her heart is empty and
Right.
Gaur Nitai should enter.
Yeah.
And
I'm Bhakti Krishna Shakti.
she's got nothing to offer, like
Mhm.
bhakti ties or anything, but
Shakti.
for strength or anything,
No
but
strength,
she should
yeah.
still enter, she
Yeah,
should
not
still enter
Bhagavatam.
her heart.
That's lovely. That's really, really nice. Thank you. In between, I got some of the words: bhakti shunya, shakti shunya, no devotion. I have no
Yeah.
power. I have no
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful words. It's very humbling. Thank you. We always
Thank
love hearing you, Mrs. Roy. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. She loves singing.
lovely. Thank you. Hi, Paul.
Hare Krishna.
So thank you to Mrs. Roy Mataji. Thank you for sharing that wonderful bhajan of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And now we have another lovely devotee, Mrs. Darat Mataji, also singing Bengali bhajan, I assume. We have Mrs. Darat Mataji online. Hare Krishna, Mrs. Darat Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, how are you?
Krishna, I am all right. How are
Good.
you?
Kanji, we're good, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Which bhajan are you singing today for Sachinandana Dachan?
I singing Radha. Krishna is lost. Radha, he's who ढूंढ रहा है Krishna को.
So they're trying to find each other, Radha and Krishna, Radha Krishna Leela.
Radha Krishna Leela. Yeah.
There, thank you. Okay, lovely to hear you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. राधा ढूंढते रोहे किसी ने मेरा हम देखा राधा ढूंढते रोहे किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा मेरा शाम देखा शाम देखा शाम देखा राधा ढूंढते रोहे किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा राधा तेरा शाम नंदो गाँव में देखा राधा तेरा शाम नंदो गाँव में देखा गैया चोराते हुए राधा तेरा शाम देखा गैया चोराते हुए राधा तेरा शाम देखा राधा ढूंढते रोहे किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा राधा तेरा शाम हमने जमुना ते देखा राधा तेरा शाम हमने जमुना ते देखा कपड़ा चुराते हुए राधा तेरा शाम देखा कपड़ा चुराते हुए राधा तेरा शाम देखा राधा ढूंढते रोहे किसी ने मेरा शाम देखा राधा तेरा शाम हमने गोवर्धन में देखा राधा तेरा शाम हमने गोवर्धन में देखा गोवर्धन उठाते हुए राधा तेरा शाम देखा गोवर्धन उठाते हुए राधा तेरा शाम देखा तेरा श्याम हमने कुंजवन में देखा, राधा तेरा श्याम कुंजवन में देखा, रासो चाहते हुए राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, रास रोचाते हुए राधा तेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढते रोए किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, तेरा श्याम हमने वृंदावन में देखा, राधा तेरा श्याम हमने वृंदावन में देखा, राधे राधा राधा बोले ढूंढते रोया तेरा श्याम देखा, राधा 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 बोले ढूंढते रोया तेरा श्याम देखा, राधा राधा बोले ढूंढते रोया तेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढते रोए किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढते रोए किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे राधा ढूंढते रोए किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा, राधा ढूंढते रोए किसी ने मेरा श्याम देखा। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. I now recognize the song. I remember. It's very popular. I remember. It's very popular bhajan. Yeah. So Radharani is going around to all the different places in Vrindavan looking for her sham.
Yes.
So remembering. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
sang very nicely in Hindi. Yeah.
When you see everybody each other, when you open mandir.
Yeah. We're looking forward to all being back in the temple, and it would be a very nice time. But I think the management is still, looking at the COVID and trying to figure out a safe way where devotees can hopefully eventually come in and take darshan in a controlled way. So just to make everyone safe, and we only have one pujari at the moment, so yeah, it's proving challenging, but they're thinking about it. Something.
I miss everybody.
We do miss everyone. We do. But thankfully, you're joining the daily Zoom artis and the program, so we have that at the moment. But hopefully, let's pray we can, all go back to the temple and enjoy the kirtans there again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll see you again soon. Hare Krishna. Also, we had a little glimpse of Mataji's temple there. Very beautiful temple. So that's very nice. So now we'll go on to rugby. There's Neela Ben Mataji and Thakur uncle. I'm sure they have something very nice to be prepared for the lordships today. So if you have a bhajan or a few bhajans, a couple of bhajans, we'll leave it to you. So we look forward to hearing from you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol, thank you.
We're singing it's like a pratna actually, just asking Lordship to give us do all the things that we can do to sort of towards the perfection of bhakti. Yeah. So Yeah, yeah. Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Krishna Kanaya Lal Ki Jai. हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। शीघ्र सारे दुर्गुणों को दूर हमसे कीजिए। शीघ्र सारे दुर्गुणों को दूर हमसे कीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। लीजिए हमको शरण में हम सदाचारी बने। लीजिए हमको शरण में हम सदाचारी बने। ब्रह्मचारी धर्म रक्षक वीर व्रत धारी बने। ब्रह्मचारी धर्म रक्षक वीर व्रत धारी बने। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। निंदा किसी की हम किसी से भूल कर भी ना करें। निंदा किसी की हम किसी से भूल कर भी ना करें। सत्य बोले झूठ त्यागे मेल आपस में रहे। सत्य बोले झूठ त्यागे मेल आपस में करे। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हम तो कीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। प्रेम से हम गुरुजनों की नित्य ही सेवा करें। प्रेम से हम गुरुजनों की नित्य की सेवा करें। दिव्य जीवन हो हमारा यश तेरा गाया करे। दिव्य जीवन हो हमारा यश तेरा गाया करे। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। शीघ्र सारे दूर हमसे कीजिए। शीघ्र सारे दुर्गुणों को दूर हमसे कीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He Prabhu Anand Data, नान हमको दीजिए, शीघ्र सारे दुर्गुणों को दूर हमसे कीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता, हे प्रभु आनंद दाता। Hey Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Auntie and Uncle. That was really, really nice. Nicely selected bhajan there. Really like the words. Is there a gist of some of the meanings of some of the verses?
Yeah, it's we sort of want to get some knowledge, of the bhakti, and so or whatever the durgun, any mishaps, anything that we cannot, it's like obstacles, which is in our way to the bhakti, can be sort of taken away, then we can try and get to the Lordship, or near the Lordship, and do the bhakti, a little bit better. I think, yeah, that's, and I think obviously, sort of following some of the principles, like not sort of criticizing other people, try and sort of tell the truth, and not to lie in any circumstances. Do some services to the Gurujis, our Gurujis, and so we lead our lives with divya life, so like transcendental life, so that by Harinam, Kirtan, and all that sort of thing, so so it's just prayers to a Lord to sort of grant us some of these habits and good sort of kamna, so yeah, so
try and lead the humble life and try and serve the gurus and the lordships.
Yeah. which
That's
is
really
what we-
nice.
Yeah.
It's very nicely, very nicely selected. It's really the words were selected really carefully, that we always pray that we may be able to imbibe these values and these qualities of devoteeness and devotee character, and
That's right.
only the Lord can help us, really. So we're begging for mercy from the Lord and the Vaishnavas to try and bring about these qualities in us, which will then, attract Lord Krishna to us. So that's really, really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining, Jay.
Okay.
So it's a lovely Kirtan session there for all the devotees. So thank you all for participating in the Kirtan session. Now we have Jay Radha Madhav. It's time for class. So we would here's Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Dr. Pavan Prabhuji. So I wonder what your class will be entailing today.
Gauranga Hari Bol, this is Dandavat Pranam. We'll read from the Bhagavad-Gita today.
Okay, lovely.
Hanji?
Yep, lovely. No, we look forward to it. So that's
Okay.
great. So we'll start with Jay Radha Madhav and then off into the class. And if anybody does have any questions at the end, please post them in the chat box and we'll pick those up at the end. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Gauranga.
Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunda Bihari.
Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunda Bihari.
Jayo Radha Madhava,
Gopedana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Rangana Jai Ho Jai Yashodanandana Braja Jana Rangana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Ho Jai Ho Jai Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunda Bihari Radhe 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 Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunda Bihari Jai Mamantra Jai Ho Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Jai Ho Jai Ho Jai Gouda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Jai Ho Jai Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gouda Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Ho Jai Gaura Gaura Ho Ho Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Ho Gaura Gaura Radhe Radhe Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Ho 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 Radhe 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Radha Madhava Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunda Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunda Bihari Jai Ho Jai Ho Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunda Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Hari Jai Ho Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivaradari Jai Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari.
Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunda Bihari.
Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunda Bihari.
Jayo Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe.
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 Jayo Prabhupada,
Hey Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Jayo Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj,
Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj.
Nitai Gaur,
Nitai Gaur,
Nitai Gaur,
Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Radha Madhav ki
Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Guru Maharaj ki
Jai.
Gaura Premanandi. Jai. So today we'll be giving class from Bhagavad-Gita. But just before we go to the Bhagavad-Gita, I wanted to read from a text that Haridas Prabhu put on our group chat. So everybody can read it. I read it on the Coventry KC group, and I absolutely loved this because it reminded me, and I will tell you why just before we go into the class. So it says, this is Haridas Prabhu has taken this from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it says, saying this, he offered prayers to the Mahaprasad, took a little portion and ate it. And then Haridas Prabhu has highlighted. It said, should honor it. Yeah, one should honor it. And then the next word, yeah, Karila Vandana. So it remembered me when Haridas Prabhu, he took me to Bharat in 1994. That was my first time ever traveling with my spiritual master, because this was before initiation. So we did the whole yatra. We had traveled from Delhi all the way to Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, Gayaji, and then we come back all the way around. Then we come back to Delhi, and then we went to the Delhi temple, and Guru Maharaj was giving class, and Guru Maharaj was giving a wonderful pravachan, and the hall was packed. And when the class ended, Guru Maharaj always liked to hand out sweets, Maha sweets, not just any sweets, Maha sweets. And then while this was going on, the Bharatiya people, the community was coming forward, and Guru Maharaj was talking to each one as and when they asked a question or they asked him how he was. But this is going now past lunchtime. So as it was going past lunchtime, and when you're on yatra, the brahmacharis were going to serve prasad. So they said to me, can you tell your Guru Maharaj that prasadam is ready to be served? We've pros diya, like they put it out in the room. So I was like, okay, so Guru Maharaj is really busy. So then I approached Guru Maharaj and I said, Guru Maharaj, prasad is ready to be served. And Guru Maharaj went, "Theek hai beta." And then Guru Maharaj carried on giving out the sweets. And then the brahmacharis came back. I think it must have been 5-10 minutes later. They said, the prasadam is getting cold. Can you please tell Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj that we've served it, it's getting cold. So I went back. This is while Guru Maharaj is sitting on the Vyasasan and he's handing out Maha sweets. And he's still answering questions. And he's still, very nicely honoring each person that's coming forward to him. So I said, Guru Maharaj, the prasadam is getting cold. And Guru Maharaj says, "Yes, beta, I'm coming." Guru Maharaj was still handing out sweets. So, okay, so another 10 minutes passed. And the brahmacharis, they come back and they said, "Sab kuch thanda ho gaya. Everything's gone cold, can you please?" So this is where this comes in. This what Haridas has put out is so important. And he said, and I went forward in my ignorance, because I was only starting my journey onto spiritual life. I still am. I still am. And I went, "Guru Maharaj, khana thanda ho gaya." And Guru Maharaj went straight away. Even though there's people approaching Guru Maharaj constantly from every angle, and Guru Maharaj is giving out the sweets, Guru Maharaj straight away turned around without hesitance. Guru Maharaj went, "Beta, khana kha ke nahi thakke. I don't need khana. I eat Mahaprasad." And when you're not even a disciple and you approach His Holiness, it was just like, oh, it was like that. So it took me back to that memory because I remember it vividly, the importance of Mahaprasad. And Guru Maharaj saying, khana kha ke nahi thakde. Kinna ka khana kha loge. Khane ne tyanu kha liya. Yeah? The food has eaten you. So, but Maha doesn't. Maha gives you long life. So this was so important. I thought, before this gets lost in all the text messages in the group, I will say what I remember from them. So we'll start the class. So thank you, Haridas Prabhu, again for that message. And it really did take me back to Guru Maharaj days. So we'll quickly, I'll read the pranams before starting. So Om Gyanti Mirandasya Gyananjana Chalakaya Chakshuram Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakal Patrubhyascha Kripa Sindhuba Evacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we go straight to class. So the class is from Bhagavad-Gita Chapter 4 verse 10. So let me quickly, I'm not with the modern times yet up with a computer, so I got the Bhagavad-Gita, so I'll quickly find Jai Ho. So this is Jai Ho. So Bhagavad-Gita Chapter 4 Text 10. All read. Vitra raga bhaya krodha man maya mam upashritaha bhavo jnana tapasa putta mad bhavam agataha Vitra raga bhaya krodha mama maya mam upashritaha bhavo jnana tapasa putta mad bhavam agataha. Translation: Vita, freed from raga, attachment, bhaya, fear, krodha, and anger, mat, maya, fully in me, mam, in me, upashvataha, being fully situated, bhava, many, jnana, of knowledge, tapasa, by the penance, putaha, being purified, mat bhavam, transcendental love for me, agataha, attained. Translation of the verse: Jai Ho. Being freed from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. So purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. As described above, it is very difficult for a person who is too materially affected to understand the personal nature of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Generally, people who are attached to the bodily conception of life are so absorbed in materialism that it is almost impossible for them to understand how the Supreme can be a person. So we can have a body, but they cannot. Yeah? The Supreme Personality Godhead, Krishna, can't have a form. Yeah? Look how Srila Prabhupada has wonderfully written this. Yeah? That it is almost impossible for them to understand how the Supreme can be a person. Such materialists cannot even imagine that there is a transcendental body which is imperishable. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Full of knowledge and internally blissful. In the materialistic concept, the body is perishable. Full of ignorance and completely miserable. So we took birth and it's aged. Yeah? It doesn't become vintage, like how people collect cars, and they collect vintage cars because they say it's gone up in value. But this body, it just diminishes. From birth, it's striking off the days as days are going by. Yeah? With every sunrise, a day has gone. But have we remembered the Supreme? Huh? So how some people collect other things as well, abominable thing, they're saying vintage. But this body, it's not vintage. Yeah? The body is perishable, full of ignorance, and completely miserable. Therefore, people in generally keep this same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada is saying they've been told that the Supreme Lord has a form, but they're still keeping him, I'm supreme. How can he be supreme? I'm getting old, I'm getting aches and pains. He must be getting aches and pains. Hey? Keep the same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord. For such materialistic men, the form of the gigantic material manifestation is supreme. Consequently, they consider the Supreme to be impersonal. Wow. Huh? Impersonal. What does that mean? Meaning that he doesn't have a form. We can have a form. He hasn't got a form. He's everywhere. To be impersonal. And because they are too materially absorbed, the conception of retaining the personality personality after liberation from matter frightens them. Wow, you know how perfectly Srila Prabhupada has picked the words that he's written. The conception of retaining the personality after liberation from matter frightens them. Matter, Srila Prabhupada is saying, after this body is finished, and to get a spiritual body, they're getting frightened. But look what's happening in this body. If I get that one as well, it's going to be the same. No, it's not going to be the same. When they are informed the spiritual life is also individual and personal, they become afraid of becoming a person again. Afraid that, look, I'm going to have to get another form. I thought this was it. I thought this is my enjoyment. But no, there's another one. Oh no. All these doubts are coming into the mind. And so they naturally prefer a kind of merging into the impersonal void. That is amazing. Look, in Srila Prabhupada, it's just a void. Not that it's not available, it's available, but it's just a void. What will you do in that void? Yeah? What happens when we go into an empty room? Yeah? What do? You feel that there's nothing here. What do I do? So the person is like that, they merge, but when there's nothing, so after a few 100,000 years, oh, what do I do now? It'll be like, but I'm merged. What do I do? Where do I go? Back down, back to the crossroad, start the journey all over again. That's the impersonal. There's no other way. Generally, they compare the merging into the impersonal void. Generally, they compare the living entities to the bubbles of the ocean, which merge into the ocean. That is the highest perfection of spiritual existence, attainable without individual personality. Look at how Srila Prabhupada's made sure that we understand what is being said. So what is being said? That the emergence is very similar to that of, you know, when you go to the ocean, everybody must have been you couldn't even leave the country. And in staycation is being hyped up so much, everybody wants to travel. Yes? So you must see the ocean, the waves come. I'm trying to keep my finger on where I was reading because I lose myself very quick. So let me go ocean with that. So as the ocean waves come, they hit the shore. And then if you have a look at this, bubbles. And then as the wave dies out, so does the bubbles. So that's disappearing. That is the highest perfection which emerges into the ocean. That is the highest perfection of spiritual existence, attainable without individual personality. When you want to just focus on the emergence into the void, into the Brahmajyoti, which is just coming from Krishna's toes. You know, when I first read that, I was just amazed. The Brahmajyoti is coming from Krishna's toes, which illuminates all the Vaikuntha planets. What wonderful. And us, the only thing coming out of our toes is dead nails, which we have to maintain because the body is deteriorating by time. This is a kind of fearful stage of life, devoid of perfect knowledge of spiritual existence. Furthermore, there are many persons who cannot understand spiritual existence at all, being embarrassed by so many theories and by contradictions of various types of philosophical speculation. They become disgusted or angry and foolishly conclude that there is no supreme cause and that everything is ultimately void. That's the thing. Let's read that again from there. They become disgusted or angry and foolishly conclude that there is no supreme, because that everything is ultimately void. Such people are in a diseased condition of life. Some people are too materially attached and therefore do not give attention to spiritual life. Some of them want to merge into the supreme spiritual cause, and some of them disbelieve in everything, being angry at all sorts of spiritual speculation out of hopelessness. This last class of men take to the shelter of some kind of intoxication. Hey? What? Srila Prabhupada was so, he's writing this in like 1965, 66, 67, 68. Yeah? But look how far advanced he is and how he can see into the future and tell the society of where we are. Being angry at all sorts of spiritual speculation out of hopelessness. This last class of men take to the shelter of some kind of intoxication. Because they don't understand. Yeah? We all met sometime in our life, we met some drunkards. And you ask them, why do you drink? To forget. They want to forget. And this Srila Prabhupada is saying here, and we've met. Yeah, that's proof. This class of men take to the shelter of some kind of intoxication, and their affective hallucinations are sometimes accepted as spiritual vision while they're intoxicated. Eh? One has to get rid of all three stages of attachment to the material world: negligence of spiritual life, fear of spiritual personal identity, and the conception of void that arises from frustration in life. Look at that. I mean, how much have we seen that now? In lockdown, you hear more and more in the Asian community that people, through frustration or whatever, because of death, some people have committed suicide. And Srila Prabhupada's already written here, and the conception of void that arises from frustration in life. To get free from these three stages of the material concept of life, one has to take complete shelter of the Lord, guided. We don't like to hear that, guided, because it means someone has to give us instructions. Yes? We are all self-proclaimed. Nowadays that's encouraged. But in spiritual life, such an advanced subject matter, yeah? Do you ever hear somebody self-proclaimed physicist? Self-proclaimed. Somebody has to still approve the work, yeah? Or chemistry. Self-proclaimed. It's not possible, but that's all still a material matter. And here we're talking about trying to go back home, yeah? Spiritually. One has to take complete shelter of the Lord, guided by the bona fide spiritual master, and follow the disciplines and regulative principles of devotional life. Look at that. And follow the disciplines and regulative principles of devotional life. We don't want to follow anything. The last stage of the devotional life is called Bhav. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Or transcendental love of Godhead. But if we can't subdue the anger, which everything else arises from, as it was written at the top, then how? Gauda Hari. Devotional life is called Bhav, or transcendental love of Godhead. according to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.4.15 to 16, the science of devotional service. Not speculative matter, science. I'll go to the translation straight because I can see it's already half past. In the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. Yeah? Preliminary, just a beginning, must have a desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. I'll read that bit again, because this is what we struggle with, including myself. Yeah? This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. Yeah? So in the beginning, when we're coming to devotional life, just a start, yeah? You can't be hanging around with like-minded people if you want to make a change in your life. It says here, elevated. Yeah? So you have to go to the temple. You have to find somebody that can guide you, an elevated soul. So we're reading the translation to those verses of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. In the next stage, one becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master. This is just the words constructed by Srila Prabhupada. He didn't just say initiated by a spiritual master. Because there's so many self-proclaimed spiritual masters. Srila Prabhupada was quite specific. He didn't just say spiritual, he said elevated. Yeah? Because there's a lot of a change that a spiritual master can make in one's body. And under his instruction, the neophyte devotee begins the process of devotional service. By execution of devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, one becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self-realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of Godhead. So people always ask, what's the instructions? How do I do this? How do you come to Krishna consciousness? And just the translation of these two verses of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, and Srila Prabhupada has told us what is the process, how are you going to get to what stage, when are you going to get there. After the above, after taking initiation and taking instructions, becoming free from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self-realization. Yeah? So we're not looking for grasshoppers. Yeah? We're not looking for grasshoppers. This isn't martial arts. You know how they say, he's grasshopper. No. Now your hopping should have stopped. And inquire attains the absolute personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. This taste leads one further forward to attachment for Krishna consciousness, which is matured in bhav. That's very high. We'll get Haridas Prabhu to, because Jaho, Golda Hari. Or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. Real love for God is called prema. Jaho, prema. The highest perfectional stage of life. In the prema stage, there is constant engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Yeah? So by the slow process of devotional service, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, one can attain the highest stage of being freed from all material attachment, from the fearfulness of one's individual spiritual personality, and from the frustrations that result in void philosophy. then one can ultimately attain the abode of the Supreme Lord. Gauranga Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. So I had some quick references, but it's already 7:34. I'll skip the references and say Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. So chapter 4 verse 10, being freed from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Bhagavad-Gita ki jai.
Krishna Prabhuji Jai. Thank you very much for that wonderful class. It's a shame it got cut short, but I'm sure next time we can, hear more from you. That was really nice.
Gaurari.
Thank you very much. So, I think we'll run to the temple now for Aarti.
Jai.
And Aki Mataji is online and she'll be singing Kiba Jaya Aarti. And then straight after that, we'll be going on to Prem Prakash Prabhu and Hinckley, who will be singing the Aarti Kirtan. So we'll just wait for the temple when they're ready. Is the temple ready for Aarti? So there's the darshan, and thank you, Aki Mataji, for joining us today. And then as soon as the pujari is ready, you can start to sing. Thank you very much.
Kiba jayo gora chande aruti ko shobha jana bita chabane jagaman lobha dakhine nitai chan bame gadadhara nikate adaita seni pasha chakradhara bashi ate gorachan tasma simhasane aroti koreno brahma adi devagane narahari adi kore chamura julaya sanjaya mukunda bhasu Goshadikaya Shankho Baje Ganta Baje Baje Kartalam Madhura Vidango Baje Paramarashalam Shankho Baje Khanta Baje Madhur 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 Baje Shankho Baje Khanta Baje Madhur 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 Baje Shankho Baje घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे निताई गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल 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 बहु कोटि चंद्र दीनी बदन उज्ज्वला गालो देशे बनमाला करे झलमाला शिवाशक नारदो प्रेमे गदा गदा भक्ति विनोदा देखे गौरार संपदा गौरांगेरा रोति शोभा जग जन मनोलोभा गौरांगेरा रोति शोभा जग जन मनोलोभा गौरांगेरा रोति शोभा जग जन मनोलोभा निताई गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल 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 हरि बोल
Krishna. Namo Vishnu Prasthaya Bhutale Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namene Namo Vishnu Padaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namene Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshetarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me Neelachal Chandra Swami Jagannath Neelachal Madhava Pyare Jagannath Neelachal Chandra Swami Jagannath Neelachal Madhava Pyare Jagannath Jayo Jagannath Jayo Jagannath Jayo Shyama Sundar Pyare Jagannath Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadra Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadra Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadra Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadra Jayo Sachinandana Gaura Hari Vishnu Priya Pranadhana Nadiya Vihari Jayo Sachinandana Gaura Hari Vishnu Priya Pranadhana Nadiya Vihari Jayo Sachinandana Gaura Hari Vishnu Priya Pranadhana Nadiya Hari Gaura 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 Hari Patita Pavana Gaura Hari Gaura 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 Hari Patita Pavana Gaura Hari Jayo Nityashan Jayo Nityashan Jayo Nityashan Nikasakradam Jayo Nityashan Jayo Nityashan Jayo Nityashan Nikasakradam Jayo Radha Jayo Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Yo Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Yo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Yo Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radha Jayo Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radha Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Lakshmana Hanuman Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Lakshmana Hanuman Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Lakshmana Hanuman Jayo Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman Jayo Giriraj Maharaj Jayo Giriraj Maharaj Jayo Giriraj Maharaj Jayo Giriraj Maharaj Jayo Shri Madhusudan Jayo Shri Madhusudan Jayo Shri Madhusudan Jayo Shri Madhusudan Jayo Mani Ma Jayo Mani Ma Jayo Mani Ma Jayo Mani Ma Jayo Sudarshan Jayo Sudarshan Jayo Sudarshan Jayo Sudarshan Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada. Jayo Jayo Gurudev, 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev, Jayo Jayo Gurudev, 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Nittai Gaura, Nittai Gaura, Nittai Gaura, Nittai Gaura, Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacarya Stotra Shata Shri Srimati His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Iskcon founder Acharya Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacarya Stotra Shata Shri Srimati His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Shri Gaur Kisora Das Baba Ji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Shri Satchitananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Shri Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Baba Ji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindi ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Jai Sachinand Tay Chand ki jai. Jai Shri Shri Jagannath Bhagwan Jai Balram Ji Subhadramani Sudarshan Ji ki jai. जय राधा माधव की जय, राधा गोकुलानंद की जय, राधा रमन जी की जय, राधा मदन मोहन जी की जय, मधुसूदन जी की जय, गिरिराज महाराज की जय, मणिमा की जय, पंचतत्व की जय, जय सुदर्शन, जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की जय, सुदर्शन जी की जय, षट गोस्वामी की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, सिमदेव की जय, जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. All glories to Samal devotees, all glories to Samal devotees, all glories to Samal devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you. That was really, really, really nice. I think that's the first time we've heard you sing the Aarti Kirtan. It was really, really good. So it was nice musical setup, nice musical arrangement, the harmonium. I don't know, there's only two of you there, and I think, and there's this harmonium, and there's the duffly. So I don't know who's playing what, but it was brilliant.
Who's playing what?
Well expanded.
I wasn't of Aradhya wasn't Kartal and Ishani and Harmonium.
It's a really good group. It all came together really nicely. So thank you all so much. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so so that concludes the Aarti of Satyananda Nitaya Chand Jai. And now we have Namaste. So there's a list of names for Nrsingadev Aarti. Nrsingadev Aarti will be sung by Anirudh. Anirudh is a little devotee of our temple, son of Aki Mataji. So I'll just mention the names. The Nrsinga Aarti we're going to remember today. The leaders of Iskcon, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj, and other Iskcon gurus and leaders who are suffering around the world, and all of those who take care of the gurus and sannyasis. So others are Prandeep Pankhania and daughter Reena, Lucky Roy, Rahamurti Prabhu and Veena Pani Masji, Dilip and Parvati, and Geeta's daughter Hiranyada, Shanti Ben Solanki, with her uncle's Masi, Vijay Patel, Premanji Mataji, Shraddha Mataji, Nenamandri Mataji, Srimati Mataji, Vijay Malan, Prem Malan, Gaura Hari's mother, John Prabhu, Devinder Prabhu, Kishore Bhai Thakrar, Mohit Manhar Agarwal of Vrindavan, Chandrakal and Subhavi Tej Prabhu's mother, other devotees who are suffering around the world, and the general well-being of the whole world and all the living beings. Okay, Anirudh, are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, you can sing Nrsimhadev prayer. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Palada lada daine. Palada lada daine. Hiranakashi Purvakshaya. Hiranakashi Purvakshaya. Sila tangkar na kalaye, sila tangkar na kalaye. Ito Narsingo para to Narsingo, ito Narsingo para to Narsingo. Yato yato yamita to Narsingo, yato 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 yamita to Narsingo. Bahir Narsingo Hridaye Narsingo, Bahir Narsingo Hridaye Narsingo. Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapade, Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapade. Tava Kara Kamala Bade, Naka Madhut Singha. Dolita Hiranyakashipu Tanubrika. Dolita Hiranyakashipu Tanubrika. Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Jaya Jagadesha Hare. Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol 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 Narsimha Bhagavan ki jai. Hari Bol.
Jai Lord Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Anirudh, did you enjoy that?
Yeah, even though I had cold.
Or even though you had a cold, but you sang beautifully. It was really, really nice. I'm sure Lord Nrsimhadev enjoyed that too. So I'm sure it'd be nice for you to join us again sometime. If you know any other bhajans and other kirtans, that would be nice to hear from you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you get better soon. Hare Krishna. Okay, so thank you very much, Akimati. So that concludes the end of the Sunday program. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you to all the Kirtanis today. Just a few announcements. We have Ekadashi this Saturday, and that's Indra Ekadashi. Fast completion is from 7:10 to 10:59 on the Sunday. Apart from that, there are no other announcements apart from daily Aarti that's happening on Zoom every day, and Sunday programs also on Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook. So please do subscribe to our channel, and if you'd like more information about our programs, please reach out to one of the devotees and we can add you to the WhatsApp group where you'll receive regular notices. I believe if Vidyanuncle is there, I think Vidyanuncle might want to add a few notes to the program. Yes. So if We'll just wait for a few seconds. If not, then we can conclude. Okay, if there aren't any other messages or any other notices, we can keep all the devotees informed via the WhatsApp group, the commentary notice board. Wishing you all a good week and a safe week. Please stay safe, and we will see you during the artis. Thank you, and please join us again next week. Hare Krishna.
कृष्ण प्राण मोर जुगल किशोर राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोर जुगल किशोर जीवने मरणे गति आर नाही कृष्ण प्राण मोर जुगल किशोर कालिंदीर कुले केली कदम्बेर कालिंदीर कुले केली कदम्बेर बेदीर ऊपर बासाबधुजा रतन बेदीर ऊपर बासाबधुजा राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोर जुगल किशोर कृष्ण प्राण